There goes the mics. Mics up. Phones are up. Everything else is up. Better turn that down.
Howdy, howdy, howdy.
Howdy, howdy, howdy. How you doing, man?
I can barely hear myself.
You can barely hear yourself, then you're gonna have to pull it up a little bit
on the monitor. Oh yeah. Tiny bit.
Okay.
Amazing.
How we doing? We're doing good.
Doing good tonight.
How? Give me that. I want to hear.
How?
You got a crack?
Hey.
No crack tonight. No crack tonight.
Hey, what's going on out there?
Oh,
You kids, get off my lawn.
I'm telling you. Brought to you by Coors today. Oh, we got an audience.
We got an audience. Wow.
Say hi, Abby.
Hi,
Abby.
Abby.
Abby's off on her vacation, so she's going to be in the backyard entertaining my wife as they sit in the back and do what.
And watch
on YouTube or Facebook Live. It would be great to see all you guys here. Brought to you by Coors tonight and Kirkland Water.
Hey, did I tell you?
You didn't tell me anything.
We had the to get a CO certificate of occupancy for selling my parents' house. You got to get everything checked, right?
Right.
So they came in, they checked the water. Uranium.
Well, what are you gonna do now?
That takes reverse osmosis. So we got to put in a reverse osmosis system before we can sell the house. Imagine that.
Yeah.
On well water.
So what do you do about that?
That's it. I mean, probably all the rest of the wells have it too around us.
Well, I know that.
It's
but
just, it's decaying minerals.
You got to buy some kind of permit or something to have your water now, or what? I have no idea what that.
Well, no, you've got to have a reverse osmosis system put on the well.
Oh, I see.
Since it's a well,
you got to purify the water. So.
Yeah, there's only one point of.
So where's all that uranium going to go? I mean, what does uranium? What does raw uranium do?
Not much.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it is radioactive.
Yeah,
but you need a large quantity of it, not 1 part per million molecules or whatever. 1 molecule per million molecules of water.
Yeah.
But I'm surprised that's all they found. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah. It's well water and it's coming out of rocks. There's everything in that dirt.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That hill is full of everything. Mostly granite, but and then of course they found radon in the basement too.
Well, radon in the basement.
It goes without saying. I mean, didn't expect that.
Well, how old is that house?
It's almost 50 years.
Wow. This house is about 50 years old.
Wait a second. 50. Yeah.
We're gonna start this up.
52.
Hold that thought. We're gonna start this up.
Right on.
All right, here we go.
Start us up.
Necesitamos incluir cada persona en el éxito de esta economía. Pero si queremos hacer eso, necesitamos incluir cada persona en nuestra democracia. Cada votante necesitamos la representación y cada voz necesitamos escuchar.
For best results, squeeze from the bottom up. You've got Bruce and Doug, the Weathered Soul, on the Weathered Soul podcast, live from First Snow Production Studios in beautiful Gilroy, California. It's a real nice night out tonight. It's probably 75 degrees, a little breezy. Got the doors open to the studio. It's still a garage. We're still taking donations and.
Nothing's changed.
Nothing's changed. We need to include everyone in the success of this economy. But if we want to do this, we have to include everyone in our democracy. Every voter needs representation and every voice must be listened to. Sounds like pretty cool words, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Who said that? Abe Lincoln?
Well, no. But if you've been listening to the news lately, you'll know that it was Beto.
Of course.
What about it, Beto? What the heck, dude?
Yeah.
you are a Welsh Irish guy, aren't you? I mean, do you have any Hispanic in you, man? What are you pandering to? I saw it pandering, but light. I mean, this is what politicians do, and they're in the middle of debates, and they're going to do that stuff. But I got to bring up the race card, dude. Why didn't he say it in Vietnamese, or why didn't he say it in Arabic, or why didn't he say it in all the cultures that live here in the United States? I mean, their votes count too, right?
Right.
Or maybe they don't understand, the English, and they're trying to watch the debates, and they want a translator in their language. I mean,
yeah. And
so what about it? So
as an English speaker, I don't know what he said. Was he talking about me?
I don't know what he was talking about me or not. Thank God I looked up the translation, because I was just wondering what I was again. But I found it humorous, the debates last night, just because it's always a shit show.
It wasn't a debate. It was a Q&A show. It really was.
Yeah, it really
it was a Q&A show.
Yeah.
It wasn't a debate. They didn't debate each other. They said their points and then their counterpoints, and that was about it. And they only had a minute to get their point across, and then a half a minute to rebut.
Yeah.
So it's not a debate, man.
Well, Mr. de Blasio sure took it upon himself to interrupt everybody at every second, didn't he?
Oh yeah. Well,
actually, the guy came off not as freaking lefty as I thought he was going to. I really,
no.
I don't know anything about Bill de Blasio. It's the first time I've ever freaking seen him. All I know is that he was the governor or mayor of
New York City. That's a big deal, man.
Right. And whatever. But
I mean, New York City is bigger than a lot of countries.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
As far as
there's a lot of people there. For sure.
Yeah.
But I was surprised. One thing that I wasn't surprised about was Tulsi Gabbard did very well, because I just happen to be a great big Tulsi Gabbard fan. And
well, she held her own, and she was cool. I mean, she didn't,
she blew up Google last night, from what I hear, for the most searched politician for last night. She ranked like 41st, and everybody else ranked like under 15%, something like that. So it was impressive. It was impressive.
People are saying, "Hey, who is this lady?"
And there's other polls that that just said that hands down she won the Q&A, what you want to say. But yeah, I'm really looking at her, man. She's anti-war, and that's one of my main political stances. Is I just want us out of wars and quit killing people and trying to take over lands that I really don't give a shit about. I don't. The only one that gives a damn about it is the government. I mean,
well, yeah, we could take it a step farther than that. In my point of view, right? It's not the government. We're paying taxes for a huge army to protect the interests of American business.
Yes, business interests. I will.
Their resources.
Bam. Okay. Cool. You got me. You got me there. Because I never even really thought about that. I mean, I thought about it in the industry of oil and stuff like that, but it really goes farther than that.
Yeah.
It really goes farther than that. And you call that corporatism. That has nothing to do with the free market. Zero at all, dude.
No.
Yeah, zero at all. Because I get a lot of people that freaking challenge me on Facebook and on Twitter and stuff like that, going like, your corporatism, your capitalism doesn't work. I'm going like, I said, you're making a mistake between what capitalism is and corporatism is against free marketism. I mean,
yeah.
You can't let the other exist and have the other flourish. I mean, the free market system is great right now for if the free market worked in all guys were angels, it would work something like that. I mean, we have to have some kind of regulation, don't get me wrong. Corporatism is just what we're experiencing now. I mean, they're bought so far into politics, and politics is bought so far into business that this is what happens when they're working together and one side has to defend the other side.
People united.
Yeah. And I think it's I think it's abhorrent, dude, that it's happening.
Yeah.
With that said,
and you know how I feel about all of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know what you would call my stance, but it's like I think all of these corporations that have made themselves mighty rich, pulling resources out of my country, should pay me a dividend.
Well,
absolutely.
Sorry, absolutely.
Not be heroes like Rockefellers and. all of that, right? Kennedy's.
But I think when it comes down to if and when there's ever, I don't think there's ever going to be a World War III ground war, to tell you the truth. I just don't see it happening. There'll probably be a World War III, but it will not be fought on the ground. There'll be casualties, no doubt, and there'll be some ground troops, but it's not going to be like some major ground assault or anything. It's all going to be cyber and freaking drone shit and yeah. It's just going to be totally But
it's going to be like stealing sections of the internet.
Yeah, and that's what I'm talking.
Okay, we got this country. We got all their servers.
That's what I was trying to get across today. I posted something. I said, "Oh God, what was it? I can't even find it." Oh yeah, okay. So so Bitcoin soars on the Facebook Libra. So Facebook's coming out with their own crypto,
right,
called Libra, and Bitcoin took off in the last couple of days. It waited till gold had its thing, and then after that, Bitcoin took off. And the whole thing is we're talking about World War III, and how it's going to be like a cyber war and stuff like that. We're going to be taking down the internet. Well, you know what? All that stuff is only here because you got the internet. You're hooked up, and that's right. The next war, if you're all heavily and everything goes cryptocurrency and everything on the freaking internet and stuff like that, we're screwed, dude. We're screwed because he who has all the gold is the king. And that's going to be the truth when it comes back down to, what we're doing on here. We got to be careful about that because, when that system all goes down, I'm going to have cases of peanut butter that I'm going to be able to trade for people.
Right.
Because
that'll be worth more
my
than gold.
Because my gold and my fucking silver ain't going to be worth shit. I mean, I had to make a move on it the other day. Right. I mean, really, I did. I mean, I was a fool not to sell my gold. And actually, I bought a couple more things of gold. Actually, I sold enough to buy some other positions that I wanted to be in as far as metals and stuff because I'm a metals guy. I love gold. I love silver. And it's, silver is way undervalued by 96% to the gold.
Oh yeah.
So there's a huge,
and that's just virtual. That's only because of desire,
exactly.
not because of value.
Yeah. But I mean,
silver is actually more.
But for its value, and as far as investment purposes, it's a great hedge, and that's what I use it for.
I mean, silver's a better conductor than gold.
But it's not going to go anywhere if the internet goes down. So.
Right.
And I think there's something to be said for it. That it would be probably used as a currency if anything would go down because the paper money would be virtually worthless, in a society that, we're all hooked up to the internet. And I'm sure, nothing is trading, not electronically anymore, in any kind of market or banking or anything. So they're just screwed.
Sure.
So I think, So I think what's going to happen is that it'll eventually come back up. Who knows, but it'll eventually come back up. And when that thing comes back up, he who's got a lot of gold and been dealing in gold and selling stuff within that is going to be able to, they're going to have to back the new currency with something. I don't think that you can come back from something like catastrophic, like a financial war where it wipes out all the freaking internet, freaking money. They've been, let's just talk conspiracy theorists, a war like that, and then have to come back with some kind of cash when there's nothing. Because either you've held your gold, your gold's still worth money, and everybody else has been out there trading for gold for who knows how long. Gold's or whatever the case may be, some kind of commodity, right? But when everything came back up, where everybody got sense again, and anything in the market would open or something like that, you would have to have some kind of currency or something that is backed by something. And
you'd want it backed by something of value, and it has to be of value at that time. Like right now, gold is only valuable because people hoard it.
Yeah, but not like Bitcoin is. So Bitcoin is being totally controlled by the only people who own it, and there's not a whole lot of more Bitcoin that's being traded amongst them. It's not being created at all. So it's the actual people that are not selling it that are getting that price up.
Well, so now they're limiting the commodity, and that's why the price is going up.
Some of them have ranged to they bought at a certain point, and they're trying to get that thing back up at a certain point so they can fucking buy their shit back and not take a loss.
Right.
Because some of those people came in, at 8, 9, 10, 11. When it went to 20, the people bought like in between that area where it never came back up for a long time. It was down at 3,000 for a long time. It was freaking incredible, the dump that it took. But yeah, it's just interesting
because it has nothing backing it,
except
for people's desire.
There was also an article that
that's like I said, same thing with a lot of industrial, things. Gold has some industrial value, but really, in an industrial point of view, iron is worth more. Right. So, if you think back at the time of the Iron Age, you can have a nice gold ring or something, but if I need a plowshare, it's not going to do me any good having a blob of gold.
Right. We haven't even started the show yet, but I've got we haven't even started in to where we really wanted to be. But something interesting came up on the National Enquirer, Fox News website, that NASA's headed towards a giant golden asteroid that could make everyone on Earth a billionaire.
No, maybe it'd give us all a pound of gold.
Well, so here it is. NASA is eyeing up a nearby asteroid that contains enough gold to make everyone on Earth a billionaire.
National Enquirer?
This is Fox News. Psyche 16 is nestled between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter and is made of solid metal, as well as gold. The mysterious object is loaded with heaps of platinum and nickel and iron. In total, it's estimated that Psyche's various metals are worth a gargantuan $10,000 quadrillion. Wow, that's quadrillion. That means if it was carried back to Earth, it would destroy the commodity prices and cause the world economy, worth $75.5 trillion, to collapse. We've known about Psyche 16 for a while, but its potential to cause havoc on the Earth was recently touched upon by a veteran miner, Scott Moore, who heads the Eurosun Mining, says the sheer amount of gold in the asteroid threatens to throw the gold industry into chaos. That's funny. That's hilarious because
maybe they can land it somewhere like in Kansas where it's nice and safe.
Maybe then Congress would stop spending.
No, they just spend more. Holy cow!
No dead space, man. No crickets.
Yeah. So there's been times where there's been articles and stuff about mining asteroids, and you've seen it on the Science Channel and whatever Popular Science magazine. All these you've seen it. Over the years. You've always heard about this stuff. It's nothing new.
Yeah, I know.
But it's so impractical.
It's so funny. It's really funny. It was just a funny article. I looked at it today because I always go to Fox News. I went to Fox News the first time today when I heard about the Supreme Court striking down the gerrymandering thing. So I'm fair. I opened up all three websites, that I disgustingly hate, which are Fox News, CNN, and MSNBC. Can't stand any one of the websites. But Fox News happens to be the National Enquirer of all. It's like the New York Post. I mean, you open it up and everything's all sensational and big and almost has pyrotechnics going off to the sides of it and stuff. But so I found that website. And so those show notes will be in the website. You can get to the website, Weathered Souls podcast.libsyn.com. Wow. That was a little short thing that I didn't want to go. Anyway.
Which line was I reading?
which line was I reading?
Use your finger.
But no, we do have show notes, guys. Yeah, go get it at the website. The Weathered Soul podcast.libsyn.com is the website. You can get to it. You can pick us up. Please go to iTunes and give me a review. Somebody out there, please give me a review. And I will say hey to you on the live podcast. I will say whatever on the YouTube, whatever. Just somebody go give me a rating. I don't even care if it's 1 star. I need to get up there. I need somebody to say like, hey, there's a Weathered Souls podcast on iTunes. I think that's our least downloaded on there. But we have 100 listeners. I was talking about that last week.
Yeah,
from all over the place. And I thank you guys.
So you think it's the Apple culture?
I have no idea. But we're booming it on Stitcher, man. We got a lot of people that are going for Stitcher, and you can get us at Stitcher and you can get us at Google Play. And I got a Patreon site, so if you want to go get some extra content and stuff, you can go to the Weathered Soul podcast, patreon.com/the Weathered Soul podcast. You can get it there. Hey, if you want to email me, go to Bruce theweatheredsoul@gmail.com, and I will be more than happy to either forward the email to Dougie or read it myself, and you can just comment, and we'll use it. We're not above that.
Absolutely.
I know. So welcome to the Weathered Soul podcast, all you 100 listeners out there, and if you're new to the podcast, it's me and Dougie, and we're two old men, and we just want you to get off our grass, right? Get off my grass.
Yeah,
get off my grass, Doug.
Yeah, or stop smoking it. One of the other.
See, stop. If you're smoking it, send them my way. So we're here every week on a Thursday night, and we're just gonna sit back and try to talk some things out that go national, they go local, they go all over the place. As you can tell, in the intro of the show, it's only taken us 20 minutes to get into the real show. But we talk about national stuff, we talk about news, we just talk about stuff we want to gripe about. If you went across our lawn and we don't like it, we're going to tell you about it. And we try to do some local events that are going around. We got the event going on this weekend, man. The Night for the Garden Alzheimer's is 3 days away. Yeah.
Sunday,
which is sold out, and got the stage done this week, and that was freaking great. And that was 14 hours of pure hell, man. That was a lot of wood. I chucked around. Kevin from KMW Construction. If you want to get a good contractor, that's the guy to go to. Kevin, KMW Construction. Go find him you can Google him. KMW would probably come up. But he came over at 7:30 in the morning, and I did all the cutting, and he did all the carpentering, and I helped him, do a couple of things, and do all the muscle and grunt work. And now I've got an 11x8 little stage out in my backyard, getting ready for the musicians to come over and do the show for the Alzheimer's. We're going to make some money for Alzheimer's. So, man, thank you, Kevin, man, from the bottom of my heart. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate you just doing that for me. It was fantastic and great.
Built to last.
It's built to last, and we're going to have a lot of fun on that. And just speaking of that, is just like that's the kind of generosity I need. I mean, Kevin's been a great supporter of the Night in the Garden concert series, and First Note Productions is really grateful that we have him. I got that deck pro bono, so I mean, it's great. He did my kitchen, he did my bathroom for me, and then he came back and he did this pro bono just for the Alzheimer's, so we can have a nice stage out there. So we have a GoFundMe site, GoFundMe.com/Weathered Soul Studio Upgrade. We're doing this from a garage. I mean, I think it sounds pretty good, but I would love this place to be some place where other people can come and feel free to do their podcasts, and I will gladly help them out, because this is kind of a community thing. Talking to podcasts, you're taking a ride in my mind, and you're taking a ride in Dougie's mind, and we're just talking about stuff, and we're just kind of like you guys. And maybe we're different, maybe we're the same, but still, we'd love you to listen to us, because I'd listen to your podcast. And maybe Dougie would do his own podcast. Who knows? Who knows? You never know. But we're all taking donations to build a studio out. I figure it'd take me about $8,000. It's going to happen or not, but I sure would like to have some help. And every bit of your contributions would go directly to this studio and not in my hands or anything like that. So we just want to make something that the community can be proud about, and other people that have the ambition to be podcasters can come over, and I would be more than happy to to distribute their content. It would be great. And also, we have a patreon.com site, patreon.com, the Weathered Soul Podcast, and that's where you can get our extra material that we do either before the show or after the show. We still go on with the show and have little discussions because we're trying to ramp on down. And you can only get that content if you're a patron of mine. So you go to patreon.com, the Weathered Soul Podcast, and you can go be a patron there at any level. You'll have a great time. We got extra content in there. So
enough with the business.
Let's get down to the talking now. So you brought to my attention about, I got all excited that the Maine legislature passed the ranked choice voting bill. And if you don't know, when we first started the podcast today, we're talking a lot about, the elections coming up and stuff like that. And what I do believe that the Democrats were saying in the Democratic debate or question and answer, whatever you want to call it, I call it a shit show. But they talk about voter reform, and I think there's a place in it. Me and Dougie kind of disagree with how far it has to reach, but at least the federal government has to have some kind of regulations that are not similar but the same throughout every state. I believe it's that way, but I'm not sure why it's not followed in the way, or why we're having to do what we have to do, other than the fact that I think the states should reserve their own right to do their elections any way they want. I mean, that's just, if you don't like the state, move out. If you can't move out, then make the best of it, because I've got to make the best of what I live in
can't
my
move
state.
Out, vote.
Yeah, I can't move out, so I got to vote, and I'm going to vote for basically not a lot of what I do around here, but because I'm a libertarian and I tend to vote a little bit more conservative than on the liberal side. However, I do have my favorite Democrats around here too. So, like Zoe Lofgren, she's great. And she's a great rep. And so I appreciate her. So it's not all bad, but the whole thing is that I'm stuck. I mean, I voted third party or fourth party and with Jill last time, and she didn't even get 1% of the vote. So I mean, it's sad. It's sad for me that we're stuck in this rut two-party system. And I've got to make do with what I have to make do with, what I want to call that, the party culture, because I think that there's the majority of people that go into government start out as wanting to do good, and somewhere along the line on the way up, something happens, and I think it's the power, but I would hate to think that it just seems like that there's a majority of people that are just not, I don't want to say corrupt, because corruption is just being thrown around all over the place now, but just not with the intentions that they had before. And maybe it's just this being smart and knowledgeable and have wisdom in politics or whatever it is, but I don't understand it. And it bugs me when I have to look at that and go like, man, that's what's representing me. And that's what bugs me the most. So I'm all for getting third and fourth parties in there. Just give us an example. Give us an example of what it'd be like to have a libertarian back in there. And there's a couple libertarians in there, and they get squashed pretty much. I mean, we talked about Justin Amash last week. Getting squashed in that one bill. They never should put it into, but still, that's what the smaller Greens and Peace and Liberty parties and libertarians and all those other parties that are represented in Congress, just we have one or two sprinkled here or there. So
and they're usually generally affiliated with one of the major parties anyway.
Yeah, exactly. So you're going to lean one way or the other,
right?
And libertarians, we're crazy because we want to leave you alone, but I don't know. Does that so crazy that I want to leave you alone? I'd fight and die for your right to have me leave you alone. I would. I think that's the libertarian motto that we have to go by.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I agree with that. You can do that. Matter of fact, start now.
Anyway, the Maine legislature passed ranked choice voting bill and then takes it back. So, yeah.
Well,
unfortunately,
it got all the way to the governor's desk, and from what I read, he decided not to sign it.
The update says, despite passing with the strong majorities in both the chamber of the legislature, it has come to my attention that the ranked choice voting bill in Maine did not make its way past the governor's desk due to an 11th hour procedural movement. The bill was sent back to the Senate, according to the Committee of Ranked Choice Voting. The bill is not dead. There is an opportunity to pass it when the legislature meets later this summer to address the governor's veto and bond packages. So if you, in case you don't know what ranked choice voting is that it takes away the ability for just having either a Democrat, Republican, whatever mixture may be for your ballot.
So don't we do that?
And what's that?
Don't we have ranked choice?
We do not have ranked choice voting. There might be
somewhere around here.
There might be somebody around here who does, as far as county or something like that, or
maybe
city,
maybe San Francisco.
It could be. It could be. But
first, second, and third choice.
Its time has come. Time has come. I mean, if we're going to go to what I want to say is as more of a democracy, which I hope it doesn't go to a straight democracy because it's a terrible idea. But I think to ease that, you can have ranked choice voting to where, at least a third party, you make the election rule that you've got to win by X. Okay. But if you can't win by X, then that next person gets stepped up to challenge you. And I think that's how it's I think it's a great way to vote. That's just my choice. I think it's a great way to vote. And I think if you're a third or fourth,
a lot of candidates.
Yeah, if you're a third or fourth, yeah, exactly. If you're a third or fourth or fifth, kind of obscure party out there, at least you have a chance. Where here, in the way that we vote now, I don't think that you have even a smidgen of a chance. I mean, because they always it's always the majority for. We're a democracy here in California, pure democracy. I mean, that's how you.
Yeah, well, you have to become a major party, and to do that is nearly impossible.
Right.
Because everybody's affiliated with one of the two major parties, and that's all we have.
Correct. Yeah. And the fact that the federal elections are done by the Electoral College, I mean, that's just the way that writes, and I think that's a smart idea. I think it needs to be tweaked, but it's a smart idea. So I think that's the way that everybody gets represented. So we can go back and forth about how Wyoming's freaking representatives are just are more than actual California's bullshit, whatever. Let's fix it. Let's move on. Let's keep the Electoral College. But as far as the state and everything, we're a democracy, and I think to make that more fair of a race, you have ranked choice voting, and I think its time has come. I don't think its time has come in the federal elections. A lot of people are actually talking about it, and I don't think it'll ever gain traction there. Maybe in the primaries you can have a ranked choice type thing, but
I think for federal elections, they try to do the KISS philosophy, keep it simple, stupid.
Yeah, but I don't know. It's just the way things.
It has to be. I mean, otherwise people will know who they're voting for or why. I like this guy's
that's
name.
true. I've had, that's how the judges and stuff like that are elected here. It's just like you go in there, I pride myself as being a pretty good freaking voter. I'll sit there and I'll read all the documentation. I'll read up on it and get my ideas on what I want to do on certain things. Not a whole lot of taxes get my attention, but I'm not heartless either. But I'll read up, on people that are actually running and see where they're at. And I just wish, I know a lot of people don't do that, and you just go in there and you do the freaking and that wherever wherever the pin lands.
Yeah, if you're gonna bother to vote, you may as well do it intelligently and not just do it like the SAT exam where you put C on every answer.
Yeah, well, you brought up an interesting thing about the vote when you were coming in. Well, tell me about it. You remember what we were talking about?
No, I don't.
No, the vote. You said something about doing the vote a different way. Okay, totally.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great segue into our next story, but no, you're killing me.
We've talked about too many goddamn things.
well, we're not even on the right path for the shows because I'm all over the place. So what's our next? What's on the list? Give me something on the list.
What would you like to do? Okay, how about the gas tax?
Okay, well, we can go straight into there because hey, check out what's going on with the gas tax. So KTLA and of course LA wrote an article on their website, and it says the state is still short on money for road repairs. California is poised to change the highest taxes and fees on gas in the country when an increase kicks in July 1st. But officials say that the state still billions of dollars short was what's needed to properly fix the roads and considering additional charges. The gasoline tax is set to climb over 5.6 cents per gallon, and in the second in a wave of increases. There is a wave of increases approved by the state leaders 2 years ago to raise billions of dollars for road and bridge repairs and mass transit. Combined with the 12-cent increase that took effect in November of 2017, the taxes and vehicle fees approved in the bill known as SB1 are projected to add $5.4 billion in the coming year to transportation funding. But officials estimate that $130 billion is needed to bring the state's roads and bridges into a state of good repair. The gas tax increases of 2017 will raise some $52 billion during the first 10 years, but that will leave the road repair a shortfall of $78 billion. So there you go. So this gas tax that we got, the thing that they passed, I think it's a wave of three. Maybe it's five. I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure it's at least three. Taxes more raised, and I think it's almost another 70 to 75 cents that they're going to raise the tax before it's all said and done. It's going to be raised up to 75 cents. So that is it's astounding what we're paying for in gas taxes. And like we ended last week, I think me and you didn't even come at an impasse because I think we're far apart on it. I'm tired of paying taxes, man. We're just getting taxed to death. Where does this stop?
Where does it stop? Stop using the roads.
No, I don't.
Stop wearing out my roads. Then you don't have to pay for them. How's that sound?
Well, they're my roads too. Well, they're my roads too.
Yeah, you want to keep them and not have to pay for them, then don't use them.
No. It's not that I don't want to. God, here we go. Echo chamber again. Echo. State has to be fiscally responsible for our taxes.
That's a whole different.
No,
that's a whole different thing.
God, Doug. They go hand in hand. They're supposed to go hand in hand. Responsibility, transparency, and accountability is supposed to go hand in hand with taxes and spending them, and actually supervising the people that you give the contracts to. And I'm sorry, hands down, that's the way it's supposed to be. That's what we trust.
Well, now we can get to something we can agree on.
Okay.
All right. Because why am I paying for a construction company? Why do we have Caltrans trucks doing work on our roads? Okay. Why is it a state business that's fixing my roads?
Exactly.
Because how can they be liable when they do a shitty job?
Absolutely.
You hire outside contractors. You say you're going to build this road for this amount of money and it's going to last this many years. Your asses are going to fix it or go to jail.
Exactly. Because nobody does it better than the free market.
Right.
Nobody.
It's where every other state. I can tell you a story.
Go ahead.
Connecticut had a section where I lived, a section of Route 84, the main freeway through there, repaved. And for some reason, the company screwed up and they had delays, blah, blah, blah. And they did it late in the year. Right. So they did it like when the road surface was cool. And the new surface was peeling off.
Okay.
All right. It was just like sheets of it peeling off, like no adhesion. Yeah. And guess what?
A bad retread.
Yeah. Guess what? And it was supposed to be some new type of asphalt that's extra quiet and all this stuff. Right. And so guess what? The next spring, they're out there peeling all that off and putting it back on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It wasn't like Sig Sanchez. Oh, well, it cracked.
Right.
Don't use that lane. Especially if you're on a motorcycle.
Yeah, really bad. And I'm telling you about that pothole that's happening over on 101.
Dude, that's been there for 20 years.
Dude, it's getting worse, man. This is the worst I've seen it.
And you got one going on the other side too.
Exactly.
A quarter mile up.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's freaking terrible. I'm sitting there going like, seriously? I mean, when you're, oh man, it's incredible. What
And then if you hit that and damage your vehicle, the state feels it has no liability to you.
No, it does not have it. In fact,
Right.
that's
and it should.
What that was happening. There was the people in Gilroy. Remember, they were suing.
Yeah.
They were suing the
town.
The town.
Yeah,
No, they were suing the town. They were
suing
suing
the county.
No, suing the department, the highway department, because that was the state road. Because First Street is a state road.
I thought it was county. Anyway,
No.
yeah, okay. So all right, state, that's fine.
Because the state said, yeah, you could sue. The state said you could sue Caltrans or whoever it was is responsible. So yeah. So and then they quickly paved that. They put a patch on it for whatever. Starting to get
last a week.
It's starting to get all crusty again, but now they're doing the piping all the way down the First Street.
I know where I grew up. You're driving down, a road in Western Connecticut, and boom, you hit a pothole and blow your tire out.
Yeah.
You send the bill to the town.
Yeah. Well, I just think the government's too big, and I agree with you with the contractor thing. I mean, why do we have Caltrans? I mean, you do need a road department, but that road department
cleans the roads.
Yeah.
Sands them in the winter.
Yeah.
Plows them.
Yeah, that's what you get to do. You don't get to build roads.
Keeps the drains
you
open.
You don't get to build roads.
Right.
No, you don't get to be the business. You are the business to serve me. No, we're not serving you. You're a freaking ultra wage and all that stuff. Let it be competitive. Let it go back to the free market, not corporatism. Free market. Remember, there's a difference between corporatism and a free market. So that's one thing that got to educate you guys, and because some of you guys don't know that, and some of you guys just want to leave that alone, and whatever.
Right. Yeah, I don't understand that. Now town is different, right? I mean, town has a road department. They're going to do some patching of potholes and stuff like that. But, then my point of view that there too is if there's going to be a new road built, whoever needs that road built can pay to build it. Like we need a cul-de-sac here for our development. Well, guess what? You build the cul-de-sac and you pay for it. You make it to my the city specifications, height of curbs, drains, all that stuff, width and pitch, and and you build it, and then after 10 or 12 years, maybe the town will take over maintenance on it.
Yeah, that's what it was when you were talking about how these contractors come in and they take these swaths of land like Rancho 101, and they just build what's profitable as them, and everybody else has to come in and pick up the pieces like the roads and stuff like that. So they don't build the roads. I don't believe they build the roads. And if they do build the roads, then why do I have to pay taxes to my state for them to fix the road out in front of my house when they built the road? The warranty or whatever on the property and on the complex or whatever the case may be, the neighborhood should be paying for that, right? I mean,
to a point. You can only hold the contractor liable to, or to a point. But they need to build good roads if they're going to build roads. Don't just put a quarter-inch layer of asphalt over mud
and
then make me have to redo it.
Yeah, and they have to keep the neighborhood looking like someplace you want to live instead of some places where it's just a track house for fucking miles.
Right, and parks.
I mean, let's have parks. Let's have a green. How about a green strip?
You want to put in 1,700 houses. You're going to have to take like 40 of those lots and put a few parks in.
Yeah,
sorry.
I'm not total badass freaking conservative, right? Yeah. I'm not bad, am I?
Me neither.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think and that's how it is. Yeah, that's why it's so. Yeah. That's why it's so nice to.
But you see, that's both conservative and liberal.
Yeah,
it's liberal to the existing residents. All right, but it's conservative to the economic point of view as what the liability of the town should be for you to make money off of my land.
Absolutely, absolutely, and because the free market even extends to the government that you elect in to make sure that they're taking care of this property that number one somebody else owned and they sold it to somebody, and I give the contractor and the developer freedom to say I can do what the hell I want with my land. I can respect that, but if you're going to buy that piece of land in Gilroy, then you better know what Gilroy says about what's going to go back on that land.
Yeah.
Okay. So they said, okay, it could be residential, but we have to have this set of freaking rules, and you're doing it. We're not doing the infrastructure. We're not doing all that stuff. That's all on you.
We're not putting in your sewers.
No. Here's your little hookup right here. This is where you go. Bang.
Right.
now
Right.
go. Okay.
Right.
And then after, like you said, after a while, then the city maintains, starts maintaining the lines and stuff like that. I can understand that. The problem with that is that it doesn't happen, and a lot of times it doesn't happen. I mean, it happens in contract, but it
Right.
really doesn't happen in price and
Yeah.
compensation.
Well, because the city is saying we have to grow. If we grow, we get more a larger tax base. Larger tax base means more revenue. We can pay for all of these new developments, and we can pay for, a new sewer line, and we can pay for a new water main, a new well or reservoir, or whatever, because we have a larger tax base.
Right.
But for some reason, that doesn't seem to help me. Right? I mean, they're putting in all these houses all around us.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, they're putting in more houses, but yet they can't get First Street paved.
Right. There's a lot of things that need to be done in our cities with our taxes, and I just don't think this. Not saying I can't even be educated. I can't make an educated comment on the outlets, other than I know that the outlets did a whole lot to the downtown that wasn't done before, and then you got the Walmart, and you got the Costco, and you got the big box stores that obviously took some business from downtown. But not only did they take some business from downtown and mom and pop, they got a tax break for doing it.
Right.
So that's a problem with me. Because I think everything should be fair and level. And if you're going to levy a tax on me, to start this business in my freaking garage, and you're expecting X amount of me out of every year, I want to make sure that every business has to do that. I'm not coming in here. I didn't go to the city and lobby and go like, I'm an important business, you should give me free. But a lot of these companies that have come in here, like, Walmart,
well, we're going to give you 250 jobs.
Yeah.
Well, you're going to turn away 250 jobs.
Yeah,
what are your constituents going to think about that?
I got you volunteering, news. I'm valuable, right?
Yeah.
I brought you in. I treat you right. I give you water, right?
Yeah. Water and a bar of soap every once in a while.
But that's how I feel about those taxes, man. It's just, that's the way it is with me. I want my taxes spent right. I don't want them bloated out of proportion, and then all of a sudden you're asking me for more money every time.
Right. So
and you're misappropriating.
This is my point. Is I don't mind paying those taxes if I see a return from them. Right. If you want to charge me an extra 45 cents a gallon for tax, I better be driving on glass, man. Period.
Yeah. I do not.
And I don't care how you do it, but make it happen.
I do not disagree.
Yeah.
I do not disagree.
Build the roads out of titanium if you have to. I don't care. Just make it happen.
Yeah. So anyway, you listen to sports radio at all?
When the FM radio died in my truck, I used to listen to AM, and I'd go up and down the dial and listen to all the different shows. But I used to
I still
listen to the boys talk about especially in the summertime, talk about how bad the Giants are. And,
Well, we're going to talk about KMBR because podcasting is the wave of the future. A lot of people are listening to podcasts. A lot of people still listen to radio, and radio's a great medium, and you can go up and down and find just about anything you want up and down the AM radio dial, and FM is kind of the old AM, I guess. I don't know. It's bad. I don't even listen to FM anymore because you don't get the fidelity that you used to back in the 70s. It was really different when FM first started out. It was that real deep tone, clean, it was geared for music. And I think somewhere in the years that it grew up, it just lost it.
I think when the music went digital, it changed.
That too. I think that changed a lot also.
Everything's pre-recorded digitally, and it just loses some of its fidelity.
Right. And another thing that came in were these great big media corporations like Viacom and Cumulus and other Clear Channel, all these places that will buy up radio stations and because that's what they do. They buy up radio stations and they distribute content within those radio stations that become theirs. And KMBR and a bunch of other radio stations have fallen by that wayside, and they, I think they're a Cumulus station. Last time I heard they were Cumulus. They might have changed since then, but yeah, they're purging a lot of people. So Gary Radnich is gone.
Gary
Is gone. Gary's last day was last Thursday, I think, something like that.
Still got his gig on
just overnight,
Channel 4.
Just overnight, man. Just overnight, and boom. And they didn't change their format or anything. They just decided that they were going to go.
They got rid of the high dollar people.
I think they got rid of the high dollar people because they've been more and more becoming a, what do I want to say, a national broadcasting. They get a lot of ESPN radio when they're not, doing local stuff.
Right.
It's
That's all
ESPN
distributed
radio
on
and
CD or whatever,
CBS radio or whatever. They have something else on like that. And they've been doing a lot of national broadcasting on games and stuff, which I've never heard on KMBR before. It's always just been totally
local.
A local sports station.
Yeah.
So radio is losing that local flavor from everywhere, man. And it's just it's sad. It really is. I mean, as bad as I don't want to say as bad as KSFO is, because I listen to conservative radio, but I can't stand Brian Sussman in the morning. Brian, if you don't like that, that's fine. I just don't agree with a lot of your viewpoints when it comes down to your theology. But as far as your conservatism, I can stomach about half of it. And the other half of it's crap. But anyway, that radio station is important because it does have some local flavor, but it's also on the national stage too. All they have is national shows on between like 9 and 6 or 7 o'clock in the evening. I think then they demodulate their signal so you can only get it so far, and that's when they do the local stuff. But the bottom line is that corporations are taking over to just kind of streamline their own content, what they want to do with these radio stations, and screw the local sector, really. I mean, it's all national, kind of like what's going on with Channel 2, KTVU.
Yeah.
It used to be total local station.
Yep.
And now it's owned by Fox. So what do they run all day? Fox. You just see news, and I don't think they have any original content unless it's just before the news in the morning. I don't see much original content.
No, I watch them in the morning for news. Flip between whatever 3 stations.
Yeah. So we're losing. So we're losing some people. We're losing Bob Fitzgerald. We're losing Gary Radnich, and we got Greg Papa. So they got Greg Papa from wherever he was at. I think he was at the that 95.7 station, the other sports station that they started up off of KMBR. And so he's coming over, and Tom's still there with Rob Reynolds or somebody like that. But it's just sad, man. That I think where it's coming to is something like this. What we're doing is podcasting. If you want to hear about some local stuff, I mean, this is where you got to go.
This has been going on since the mid 70s.
Yeah, I know it's been going on since the 70s. One day you're listening to KOME, and the next day you're listening to some Spanish station that took place of KOME for a while, and then all of a sudden they went back to rock, but it was never the same. And
it's like with me, it was like WRKI
and now it's
was
gone.
A local rock station. The next thing you know, it's like it's whatever, it's a Fox station or
right. It's incredible the way that these things evolve. But like I said, hey, podcasting is the way to go, and that's how a lot of people are getting their stuff, because you're carrying around your phone all day, and you're in front of your computer. Some of us are in front of our computer, and a lot of our cars now are just hooked up to the internet. So why not listen to podcasting? You've got millions and millions and millions of hours of content that you can't.
Everybody's got something
to say. So get the hell off of my lawn. But it's summer in Gilroy. And it's getting hot. And the Gilroy Garlic Festival is coming up. In 4 weeks?
Yeah,
something like that. 4 weeks. Yeah,
we've had a pretty cool summer so far.
But it's been hot. It got real hot.
Well, hot in the sun. Yeah. But it's like in the bright sun you get hot. But if you find shade, it's been pretty nice. I mean,
I was in the shade building that deck the other day, and it was 96.
No, you weren't. You had the sun baking on you all afternoon.
All afternoon it was.
With 2 white walls.
But what's disturbing is this trend that we see, and I laugh with Tracy because she gets all upset. She gets upset about the shootings, and she gets upset about all the stuff that goes on.
The latest
latest thing is just sad. It really is. It's just sad what happened in Morgan Hill. I've mourned for you guys, your friends and family, and the coworkers and everything.
Our cat sitter's husband worked there.
Oh my gosh,
he witnessed it. It was pretty bad.
Anyway. Yeah, and Trace or one of
close.
One of
Angelica's
friends is
too
the same
close to
thing.
home.
Yeah, and it's just you hear all that stuff because I mean the internet is instantaneous. And even though this is a local thing that would have hit the local news and radio stations, anything, but I mean, it's just like it's that quick where you get information, and so that happens everywhere. And you know, so you hear, I'm not a pet advocate, but I love animals, and I hate to even kill mice and rats, but we do it anyway. I've got a fly trap going on right now in the house because there's some flies in the house, and my son can't handle them. But
anything that sucks my blood, I'll kill indiscriminately. But other than that, I give it a break.
But you know, look at this also, and Tracy just I laugh at her because she's also, the world's going to hell in a handbag because all this shit's just happening more and more and more. And you know, it's just like, no, it's really not happening more and more. It's just we know more and more about it.
Yeah.
And one thing that
it is happening more and more, but we are also hearing about it more and more. Right? It's a you know, it's an additive thing.
The isolated incidents aren't isolated anymore. Even if you're in the backwoods, the isolated incidents are not the isolated incidents anymore. And a lot of things, Morgan Hill is considered an isolated incident in the backwoods of the Bay Area. Nobody comes down here except they want to put the pinky up in the air and drink some wine and listen to some good music and eat some good food. I mean, seriously, that's what the South County is here for.
Wow.
But nobody really knows us.
That's something I can be proud of.
But I don't think anybody really knows us. You know, I mean, I love to know us here because I love it down here. This is our little secret, you know, and so it's nice. But you know, we're a blip on the map. I mean, in the national news, I doubt it made national news at all. But in the same breath, what you do hear a lot of also is what's going on with dogs in cars, being left in cars.
Oh yeah, every year they have to remind.
And let
me
tell you, man, it's hot. It is hot here in Gilroy, and it might only be hot from 2 o'clock until 7 o'clock at night or something like that. You know, and then it cools down because we get that ocean air, but it gets hot in the car, and I mean like quick. I don't even take my dogs in the car when it's hot.
Oh yeah.
But I see a lot of people out there that not only are taking their dogs out in the hot, leaving in the hot car. I see a lot of dogs being walked on the street when
it's too hot for you to walk in your bare feet. It's too hot for them.
I'm telling you, man, and that's something that you got to be careful of. I mean, I can't stand it, dude. It's one of those things I can't do it. I can't do it anymore.
You know, when I lived in Phoenix, I loved this one commercial they had every spring to remind people not to leave their pets in the cars. They showed a lady in a big car like a Cadillac, a Lincoln, something, pull up to a grocery store. And she goes into the store, and it's the time lapse, and they show like it's like 7 minutes later she comes out and she cracks an egg open, and starts frying it on her seat.
Right. Well, it's terrible, and you guys got to think, if you're a dog owner, if you're listening to this podcast, you're a dog owner, and you take your dog out for a walk when it's blazing hot outside. Shame on you. You should have to go walk out there with your bare feet in the same place, because I've walked in bare feet on a hot day, and let me tell you, it's too hot.
Well, the dog's pads are a little bit tougher than our feet.
But I'm sorry.
But yes.
They're not much. Okay, they are much, but I'm sorry.
No, rule of thumb is if you put your palm on the road and it's too hot for you to leave it there, it's too hot for your dogs to walk on, because also they cool themselves by respirating through there or perspiring through there.
Right. Because they have no sweat glands.
And
they have no sweat glands. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, it's not that they can cool down themselves and stuff like that. So be smart if you guys got some dogs out there, man. Make sure even your cats and your pets, I mean, leave some water outside. If you leave them outside, make sure they got shade. I mean,
if a cat gets too hot, they go into kind of like a hibernation, like coma.
Is that right? Huh?
Cats. And they just like they get too hot, they can't move.
Yeah,
it's like a fever.
Yeah. Well, you got cats, so.
But usually cats are pretty good about moving. They get up to a certain temperature and then they move. And
well, the dogs are smart. I mean, because they don't go outside too much when there's hot weather. I mean, they go out
but
there.
you're not dragging your cat to the store with you. And
Sassy's looking around, going like, "Not today. I'm going to go lay on the cool floor in the freaking in the hallway."
Yeah. Well, the most important thing too is to always have the water available.
Right.
That's really important.
Right.
You see your dog panting crazy, If you see him panting like crazy or something like that, he's probably overheated. If he gets lethargic, that's probably heat stroke. But like you said, even if you have your windows rolled down, 4 to 6 inches, all 4 of them roll down, and your car is parked in the parking lot of Safeway, and you run into the store for 15 minutes and come out, your car is going to be hotter than 85 degrees on the inside, especially if it's 85 degrees outside.
So
and anything over 85 can start giving your dog like fever sickness.
Right. Just truth be told, if I ever see that out there and somebody's got their, coming up 4th of July weekend and stuff, it's just like, if I see a dog in their car and he's suffering, I'm going to break your window and get him out of there, because that's just bullshit. I mean, some people I see that keep their car run inside with their air conditioner on. So whatever they want.
Yeah, that's crazy the other way, but let's give them credit anyway.
I give them credit for leaving their car on. What's up for 4th of July, man?
Well, probably same old thing.
Yeah.
We'll be hanging out in the house with Abby,
Yeah,
listening to her obsess about how scared the cats are. Which is true. I mean, you know how our neighborhood is.
You were over last.
Yeah,
for a little while. You've been over for the last 2 years for a little while.
Yeah, until sunset, and then once the stuff starts, we got to go make sure the cats are well buried underneath the bed.
And doing the fireworks with Anthony, got to go buy the however much it is this year, because it always goes up every year like $20.
Yeah, so, and it should. But
I'll be seeing you, Courtney, over at your booth this year. So I always go over to the what is it, the Elks, right?
Elks,
the Elks.
Yep,
the Elks Club. I go over there and I buy my Safe and Sane fireworks from them, which are they're just nothing like.
Yeah. It's too bad they don't
nothing like what I'm used to.
Yeah. It's too bad they don't do it like PBS, where you're like, for a donation of $125, we'll include this gift.
Yeah. Well, just remember, Gilroy residents, that Gilroy put out an app. So I'll tell you, you can go get it at the Gilroy City city website. You can go get the app, and you can snitch on your neighbor if you want to, if he's blowing off illegal fireworks. So I just did that as a public service announcement. As a libertarian, I think it's bullshit, but that's just the way it is. I got to do public service, and I got to do it for Gilroy, and that's just the way it is. But
well, you can take a different approach and say, hey, listen, everybody out there, beware. Gilroy has launched an app for your neighbors to narc on you. It's all how you look at it, man.
It's all how you look at it. But anyway, I'm going to be doing my usual thing. I'm going to be blowing off fireworks in front of every place, and having watermelon and my little barbecue, and then I have to go back to work the next day, and it's one of them strange Thursday, get Thursday off. It's going to be a light Friday, but I don't think a whole lot of people are going to work, but I have to work. I've got a real big project coming up, so it's going really good. So that's what we got, man. That's the show today.
Excellent.
Yeah,
think we covered most of it.
I think we've covered a lot of it. So I think we covered most of it. The only thing that we didn't cover was no, we covered it all.
We covered that and more.
I can't believe we covered a freaking show, man.
We covered your agenda.
I usually don't have that big of an agenda.
No, well, usually we get sidetracked and go off on tangents that last, 45 minutes, and then go, oh yeah, that's right, we wanted to talk about.
And we're probably going to go off on a tangent again as soon as the short music comes up to end this show. So,
yeah,
I mean, that's just the way we are, because we're going to do some extra content after the show, and you're more than welcome to stay. And I might keep the cameras rolling, I might not, but it's special content you can get at patreon.com, the Weathered Soul Podcast. You can get us on Stitcher, you can get us on iTunes, you can get us on Google Play, you can go to Libsyn, the Weathered Soul Podcast.libsyn.com. You can get us at Facebook at Bruce the Weathered Soul or the Weathered Soul Podcast, and you can email me at brucetheweatheredsoul@gmail.com. Say goodnight, Dougie.
Good night, Dougie.
For best results, squeeze from the bottom up. If you go to the podcast site, the Patreon website, you can find out what we really think. See you there. Patreon.com, the Weathered Soul Podcast. Good podcast, man. I got to turn off the cameras here. We'll see you later, guys. Facebook Live. We'll see you. YouTube. We'll see you too.
You know, a lot of people don't realize that even inside a nice little doghouse can get too hot for a dog in the summer here.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is the way you do it.